Okay, well, my name is Russ Harris. I grew up in Malaysia. I'm an international student here. Coming here, it's the best decision of my life because I was not free growing up. I cannot think of one thing I do not like about college.
My name is Sarah Berkstead, and I'm here at Appalachian State in the Office of International Education and Development. My position is Director for International Outreach. And in outreach, I collaborate with a lot of different departments on campus to promote activities that help bring different populations together. The issue with international education is it's just impossible to generalize, because you're dealing with people coming from so many different backgrounds and socioeconomic levels. Here, I would say most of our international students are quite privileged economically, and so they've probably come from an area where they've been exposed to a lot more. Our students are mainly exchange. They're mainly here for just a semester, not an entire degree. So there's a lot of differences based on that too. Another aspect of my role is how can we create more opportunities for our international students to integrate and interact in a comfortable way with our U.S. students? Because I think a lot of our U.S. students have never been exposed to other cultures. So there's a fear factor. They don't know how to initiate that interaction. And you have your comfortable zone. They've never been an international student. I think those who have been are some of our best connections for our internationals. When you've been through that experience before as an international student, you understand how hard it is.
I've taken a couple classes I wish I wouldn't have. I don't know. Just the way the general education system is, it's really I don't know. When I first signed up for classes, I didn't know what I was doing, so I got stuck in some tracks, and now I have to take other classes in those tracks, and I don't really have many good options for me. So I'm being forced to take classes that I just have no interest in. But
I think we are starting to lose that diversity. I think that, should I say this? I'm going to say it.
Okay.
The business model is wanting to turn, I think, this is my personal opinion, that the business model wants to turn universities into vo-tech schools, right? You're here to simply learn a particular vocation so you can get out and get a job, as opposed to actually being engaged in maybe the humanities and trying to broaden yourself as a human being.
I guess with Gen Ed, you really have to focus on what you want to do and do it, or you'll end up, not having fun in your classes. I guess I lucked out on that, because I pretty much like all my classes, except for math, because you have to take math.
Maybe you have a lot of cultural things. For example, I have learned here about Islam or monk people, things like that. So in today we don't have that chance.
No, it's got pros and cons. I like the system here because I've had a chance to learn more about different things that maybe I would have never learned. I would have never taken a theater class at home in my life, or a dance class, but you have to take them here. So I think it adds more to your human development if you get all of those things.
Basically, the government they choose your major for you, out of I think it's 3 or 4 choices, and you never get your first choice. And also, it's always in the sciences or law or something really common. Nothing in the arts, really. It's not possible for the government to have music or art as a major. But I mean, it's so different here because, you know, everything's possible, and that's pretty much why I transferred. I mean, why give me, yeah.
Our way of learning in high school is kind of like they push you into one direction like quicker than they do here. I feel like here you guys are in high school and and you have like all this time all the way to senior year. You're still taking a lot of different classes. You're not really focused on one thing. But in high school, I had a lot of friends who did like math, biochemistry, and they know they're going to be doctors, you know, or math, business, accounting, and they know that's what they want to do. So I think even as they go into university, like a lot of my friends who are in university in Zimbabwe and South Africa, as soon as they get on campus, they're told, okay, what do you want to do? You want to do accounting? Your first class in accounting class, and that's all you'll take. You know, they don't like, I mean, they sprinkle some history here and there, you know, just to make it fun, but like most of their learning is in their major.
I really got impressed when I arrived here, and I realized that students here, first of all, they are not supposed to decide the major before arriving at university, and we are. So I need to decide, a Brazilian student needs to decide on the moment that he's applying to the university, he or she needs to decide the major. Sometimes when you are 17 or 18, that's not fair. It's a nightmare for lots of teenagers in Brazil.
You should be able to choose your own classes and do what you want to do because this is your college life. Like, that's what I really like. Like, I can choose what I want to do. I can choose if I want to slow down or not. Like, there's this one picture of my friend, she posted her schedule, and then she was like, oh, I'm taking 18 hours, and then her friend was like, oh, they put me for 21 hours, and I'm like, no one can tell me what I can do with my hours, like, no. Over there, high school is so exam oriented that people are not as mature as people are here. Like, they do the majors that they are assigned to do, and then they graduate, and then they get a job with the government, and then that's it. That's such a boring life. Like, everything is just spoon-fed to them.
And you arrive here and you can take classes in any department when you are a freshman. You can take lots of different classes and feel the taste of that major or that professional area before you decide. That's so positive.
Through media, through movies, and TV sitcoms that are seen all over the world, they definitely have an image of America based on what they've seen in the media. And so there are a lot of misconceptions, and that's a fascinating area to find out and to talk about with students. So depending on where they're from and what they've seen, they may have very clear stereotypes about our region, especially since, and we're in such a rural area. A lot of them think of the United States as, yeah, everything is New York City or Chicago, and so the small town quality of our culture here can be very different for them.
The only way that I found out about American culture is through the media. I mean, that's the only way. And also through what I think as a person, like, when I think of things and then when I see things on the media and I'm like, oh, America is pro-gay marriage. And, I mean, and then there'll be some articles in Malaysia and be like, oh, boycott all American things because they like gay people, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, what? That's dumb. That's really dumb.
Well, when I arrived here and I realized that the Greek fraternities and sororities really exist, I was like, oh, no. Because we see in the movies, especially The Social Network, we see in the movies the Greek fraternities and the Greek sororities and the rites of passage, this kind of thing. And when I realized here that they exist and they rush, I was like, oh, that was true.
Coming here, not gonna lie, like, it was easy. It was what I've always wanted to be. Like, in high school, the only thing that I've been thinking of is applying to college here and coming here and living, you know, free and not really controlled. But, I mean, when I came here, I was afraid that I wasn't gonna blend in well, but I did well. I'm so surprised, like, even until now, like, I think I made all these friends, and, you know, I've done all these things, and that's just so weird, and I'm just 19 years old. But yeah, it was surprisingly easy.
But I think based on the countries they're coming from, they have their own very different ideas about the U.S., about what are American college students like, what is life on the American college campus like. So I think they love Appalachian because we're small enough that they get to know you all really well, and I think our community is very receptive to getting and interacting with them. And we're also not in such a big city. They're also unique, though. They're special. Whereas if you were to go to a larger university where there's 300 students from India or Malaysia or China, you're not as unique that way. So it's different. I think it's good for them to be where it's smaller. Mm-hmm.
I have found it to be very welcoming, and people are really warm here. And there's an acknowledgement of the other as an individual.
I think what typically happens is when folks first arrive, there's a typical cycle, and it looks like a wave. And so when they first arrive, everything is there. It's that we call it the honeymoon stage, because everything is so new and wonderful, and it's exciting. And they're meeting all these new people, like INTAP. They meet all these new U.S. students at the beginning of the semester, and they get into their classes, and then the reality hits of, oh, class is hard. There's so many tests here. We have to study so much, or there's no food that tastes. I think food is a big issue.
I really don't know how to explain. It's not just a fact of me missing my home food, because I missed, but it's just not that. Everything here, they put so much pepper in everything, and black pepper, red pepper, jalapeno pepper. Oh my God, now I understand why Americans like so much Mexican food, because everything is too spicy. I make a joke with my mother in my second week here that they put pepper in the water too, because everything is so spicy.
Then you fall into sort of the downward spiral where you start to miss what's comfortable. And so that's when you have sort of a struggle time. And I think once you get through that, there's a period where, and it can be with language too, where you've been struggling with, I don't know how to speak well, no one understands me, I can't write, or classes are very challenging here. I think that's a big challenge for our students, is how to maintain that academic level that they are used to at home, because they're operating in a whole nother language. For most of them, it's their second language. But then once they start to connect with, you've been here a while, and I think make friends. So even if they're here for one semester or for 4 years, you still have the same cycle. But usually they our exchange students especially, which is why, like, when I went to Finland, I'm glad I went for a year. It takes a while to get to know people.
The college more seriously than the average student here. They are here just for an obligation, and I don't. It's a choice. It's a choice for me. It's a choice in several layers of choice. I choose to get a second graduation, I choose theater, I choose came to States and live abroad, so I'm taking this really seriously. And I think that my classmates don't care a lot about it. Like, oh, I need that class, but they are just offering that course now at 8 a.m. and I don't want to wake up early and I will not take this course. I was like, oh God, but you need this course to graduate. How can you not take this course because of you want to sleep? It's unbelievable for me, because I think studies your study, your education is a serious thing. You cannot delay it. You cannot stay 1 or 2 semesters more because you want to sleep. It's unbelievable.
It means a global exposure and an exposure to a practical application of theory, which we are so used to back home. Back home, theory is emphasized, and perhaps I could say that is a foundation to the practical approach that I see.
I think they've been told to. Like, I remember when I was a senior in high school, my creative writing class, my professor or teacher stood up and said, how many of you are going to college, after high school? And we all raised our hands pretty much. And then he was like, well, how many of you have ever considered like an alternative plan for that? And all of us were just like, woo, that's weird. Like, that's really bizarre. Just because like we're told, go to college, get a degree, it's the only way to compete. And so it's just ingrained like into your subconscious. So I feel like we go because we're told to sometimes, and actually having a gap year to go like hike the AT or go volunteer in a foreign country is a lot more worthwhile and really benefits from that experience. So,
because even the worst university in the States, if I arrive there, they will think that is better than the better university in Brazil. That's not true. I know we have good universities, average universities, and bad universities, of course. But when you say United States, people get crazy. People get crazy because you were there. You were in America, and we still have this American dream. So it really counts a lot.
Because it's so similar here and there, but they think it's so different. And people here think it's so different, but it's so similar. It's so weird, but if you have a degree from here, they think that it's the best thing ever because they think that people here are much smarter.
Do something cute, quick, we don't have much time. We have no time.
Yeah! Awesome.